Are you responsible for your spouse's student loan debt? The answer is that it depends on what state you live in, what kind of loans you have, and what kind of legal setup you've got with your spouse. So, the first thing to consider is in community property states, there are some rules that cause your private student loan debt to potentially be a joint obligation in some cases in a divorce. You really need to check with an attorney. Obviously, we're not lawyers. We don't know at Student Loan Planner exactly what the rules would be in a divorce, but just know that with private student loans in community property states, there can be some added layers of complexity. The second thing to consider is co-signing student loans. If you've co-signed someone's student loan debt and you divorce, then you will be responsible for that. Now, if the person dies, in most cases, the debt is just wiped away. If the person's permanently disabled, you have to look and see what the promissory note says. Probably it's going to be forgiven, but you want to look twice and just to double check. Third, with federal student loans, you're usually not responsible for your spouse's federal student loans. In very, very few cases are you responsible for those. That's because federal student loan debt has only one person's name on it. That person is responsible for it. Now, that spouse can be affected. You can certainly be affected as someone's spouse by student loan debt because of having to pay based off of income-based repayment programs where your income and your spouse's income are both counted. Or alternatively, if you have to file separately to exclude your spouse's income, that can impact you as a married couple. But in general, federal student loan debt is not something that's going to impact your spouse. Fourth, there's one big exception to this, which is joint spousal consolidation loans. These things luckily don't exist a ton anymore, but on that question on the consolidation application, do you want to consolidate jointly with your spouse? It's an archaic question that should be removed, but for whatever reason it hasn't been removed yet. That when people said yes to that, they were put into a joint spousal consolidation loan. I had cases of people that have been divorced for 10 years that have not been able to separate themselves from their spouse because of these stupid spousal joint consolidation loans. So that's an unfortunate case where you are responsible forever with your spouse for that student loan debt. In general, if you're getting married, you need to have a conversation about your student loan debt, and if your spouse has student loan debt, you need to talk about that as well. There's big implications. In some cases, I've even had clients who've used our services who've said, you know what, it's going to cost me $10,000 more per year to stay married because of my student loan debt and because of the income-based repayment rules, so we're going to get a strategic divorce and we're going to live together. In other cases, I've had people say something like, well, I'm going to get spiritually married, but not legally married. Because if I get legally married, then I have to count my spouse's income, and then our payment's going to be higher, and that just doesn't make sense. So we're going to have a ceremony with our friends and family, and we're not going to turn in the paperwork. And guess what? That's legal. There's really nothing that's super wrong about that in the absence of some sort of common law marriage law that automatically makes you married. So if you're thinking about marriage, probably that's one of the number one triggers that people have when they're booking our consult service, getting a custom student loan plan, is because they want to know what that means for them and their spouses when they're combining their lives together financially when you've got more student loan debt in some cases than people's mortgage. So if that's you, studentloanplanner.com/book, and we'll figure out exactly what's going on with you and your student loan debt and how that would impact your spouse so that you can have a good life together, because that's the goal. Is anything in marriage that's a challenge, that's difficult, can be overcome. You just have to have frank and honest conversations about it and know whether or not you're going to be responsible for it. And, be prepared in the event that, if the marriage does not work out, that you'll be okay and you'll have a plan for that too. And then once everything is above board and everybody knows what's going on, then you can relax, enjoy each other, have a good relationship, and not worry anymore.